digital media.
Okay then. Sorry. Not to cut you off. There's some great talk going on.
That's exactly
but I
why
think
you
it's a great time to get started. Running a little behind already. So thank you all for coming to the Education, Training, and Entertainment in XR panel, or Edutainment in XR. VR, AR, and MR, or XR for short, is washing over industries here in Seattle and abroad. Let's explore some of the ways immersive technology is having an impact on learning. So just to kick off, I'll have each of the panelists kind of introduce themselves briefly. You want to go ahead and get started, Bea?
Hello, I'm Bea, and I'm co-founder of Dance Reality. We are teaching dance in augmented reality from your smartphone.
My name is Ryan Atkins. I've been involved in AR/VR locally for about 4 years. 2 of those years had a startup, ran out of money, shut it down. It's the hip thing to do. And now I'm working on a docu-series that focuses on emerging technology and how we can use it as humans.
Hi there, I'm Kathleen, Carey. I'm with Oso VR. We make a surgical training platform. So we create immersive environments so surgeons and other medical professionals can practice in VR, because you want them practicing there.
Awesome. Welcome. We're just getting started. Have a seat. And I'm Simon Manning. I'll be your moderator. I touch lightly on entertainment and training in VR, but I have a startup called Bevel Space that is essentially a creative XR agency that builds software for architecture and construction. So I'd like to just start off with kind of a high-level view of this concept of edutainment, and also kind of comparing that to the idea of gamification. Edutainment is a mashup, obviously, of education and entertainment. Is this the same as gamification, and what does that mean for your work in training and education? Kathleen, you want to get us started?
So I would describe what we do as edutainment. We're making professional medical training, but it has to be fun and engaging, both so that people are willing to try it and try it again, because we help surgeons, folks in surgical residency programs, other folks repeatedly go through a surgical procedure to the point where they've fully memorized the sequence of steps, all the gear, all what's going on. And you want that to be rewarding and enjoyable. So you might think of it as having, it's not exactly entertainment, but there is rewards. There's a sense of satisfaction. We have levels of difficulty, so that it starts out in a supported environment with hints and highlights, ways that draw you through. And then you have the ability of making it more difficult. And then you see scores. So you do have scoring. You do have a way to tell how you've done. You have a way to tell how long it's taken you. You also have a way to say, how long has it been since I've done this? How many times have I done this? Have I gotten better over time? So it has elements you might think of as gamified in the sense of you are scored. And at the end, you do get applause. So there's a part that's entertaining. You do get cheers and applause at the end to reward you for getting all the way through.
When the cadaver comes back to life?
No cadaver. We have real patients you're working on. Real patients in our OR, and they are happy that you have done surgery on them. So there are elements there. It's still serious medical professional training, but there are elements that are gamified in the sense of tracking, scoring, recognizing, rewarding.
Excellent. How about you, Bea?
So dance is entertainment, I think. Currently, we are focused on teaching how to dance, so we don't have any gamification yet, but that's definitely something we will add in the future. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. And I mean, in and of itself, kind of dance is entertainment, so you're kind of teaching them how to entertain themselves.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. And hopefully go out and entertain with others. Entertain.
Be entertaining.
Yes, there you go.
No, I think it's interesting. There's kind of a spectrum of entertainment to training and that kind of aspect in this panel. What about you, Ryan? Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think if I were to rename the panel, I know you didn't come up with the name. I know we all sort of have an issue with the word edutainment. I would consider VR education VR as simply education as experience, and take out the sort of contemporaneous terms of gamification and having fun and all this sort of stuff, because I think that trivializes what VR, the real potential for VR as relates to education, and just really focus on the experience part. And as you say, with OSO, you're going through the motions and all this sort of thing. You're understanding the space, the physical, the spatial sort of movements that you need to be taking. In a simulated environment, you're experiencing that. So I think that's what I would say, is just focus on this idea of experience.
Yeah, for sure. So what is it about gamification or adding these sort of layers? What is it about XR that kind of brings your trainings up to the next level?
Yeah, so it's interesting because people always ask us why, like how learning dance in AR is different than learning dance from YouTube. And I have a very fun example of this. We exhibited at Augmented World Expo back in May in Santa Clara, and we had this booth where we had signs that said, "Beginners welcome, 2 left feet, come this way," and we had this black curtained off area, and people stood in this red carpet line waiting to go into this area, and they didn't know what was going on in there, but the signage said like world's first dance lesson in augmented reality. So they walk in, and we basically let them experience a 3-minute dance lesson in augmented reality, and people were like, no way, I've tried this before, like I cannot learn. And we were like, just try it. And at the end of the 3-minute lesson, the challenge was to step into the next room. There were some trained dancers in there, and their challenge was to ask someone to dance to practice their new step. And people were actually doing it. Another fun example is this woman was like, I'm married to a Puerto Rican. I've tried to learn salsa from, at all the family gatherings for our wedding. I could not learn it. And then she tried our demo, and she was like, oh my gosh, I know how to do this all the basic stuff. So it's something about being immersed. It's like, I don't know, it just kind of aids in like focusing your attention in, and when you do the kinesthetic learning, it's just, I don't know, it's really cool.
I feel like it helps me kind of open up a little bit and get more loose if I feel like no one's watching. But,
yeah.
What about you for your training?
Sure. So the having that immersion experience, as opposed to the other option, would be either reading or watching video clips of another surgeon, or cadaveric training. If you get one try on that cadaver, they're not cheap, they're not that frequently available. Or there's something called a sawbones, which is a mechanical model. And again, it's not free, and you once you've drilled in, you used it up. So in doing the full immersion in VR, one gets to retry until you become confident. It's a little lower pressure, lower stakes, because you can retry. It's not like you have one attempt to get this right. You can keep practicing. You can then turn up the difficulty by removing all of the hints and help. Make sure you've really memorized it. Then if you are going to do either cadaveric training or a sawbones or real patient, you will have already memorized, and you will have that kinesthetic sense of learning. You've memorized the sequence. You know which equipment you use when. You memorize things like the angle of the drill. You also have memorized, you've gotten feedback on memorized precision. So it's accuracy, precision, and efficiency, economy of motion. So we've already done some early clinical trials at UCLA Medical Center where they've run through groups with conventional training and with the immersed VR training, and then had the proper research where you separate out your populations. The person scoring uses the standard scoring rubric. They don't know what kind of training each of the students have received. It makes a difference in VR.